Here. No place.
I can move the camera for you.
I had claims in this annual report. It's mainly just for you guys to sign today, and then Karen will make copies, and I have to bring copies down to Jen, and we'll bring each one of you guys a copy. But sometimes they're hard to read. If you don't mind, there are just a couple of places I thought I'd just read off of it what it is and what it tells you. One for the Highway Department, January 1st in MVH, we had, beginning January 1st, we had $200,305. We ended the year with $446,330. Some of this will be better when you keep it in front of you instead of just hearing these figures, but I'll just jump through here fast. Local Road and Street, another fund that we have that we try to do a lot of our sealing out of. We started the year with $83,781. We ended the year with $153,780. Wheel tax, it looks like was $484,877. Okay, MVH, and this is where we get the figure that's a little bit different than what we see from the Association or of Indiana Counties or one of those. But MVH, $1,894,724. We're using the 1.9. That actually then could be there's some additional money in there that brings it to $1,914,724. And if we went on and listed driveway permits, interest, buggy plates, different money that we get, it can go up as high as $2,443,480. Local Road and Street, that's one we only get in about $30,000 a month. And that's about how it comes out. $364,763 that came in through that fund. Seeded for the highway, $173,000, and rainy day fund, $45,000 last year. Those are things that you'll find on here. And then it starts breaking down the budget basically after that. How much is in personal services, that kind of thing. Seed at $133,778. I guess we just talked about that. Okay, and then as you go on through, it starts talking about, it'll show projects that we did during the year. Eventually it'll go back through our equipment and show what equipment we have, that kind of thing. And then eventually you get to the back page where we need a signature from you guys, and I sign it. We'll make copies and bring them back and get them to everybody that needs them.
Okay, I like that.
It's interesting to look at.
But should we be happy that we ended up with more money than we started with?
It's the way the construction season falls.
Okay.
We basically have June, July, August, September that we're working in.
Okay.
But then now we've stopped working, and now we're collecting October, November, December. And those 3 months then help us start for our build-up for the following year. So
Okay.
Believe me, we do
wanna make sure we're
everything-
spending.
we do everything that we possibly can do with our guys during the construction season,
Okay.
and the equipment that we have and that kind of thing, so.
When does this due? This date?
I'm not sure when, if we start doing it now, she must need it pretty soon. I'm not sure what the date is. She has to have that much.
June or July.
Is it? Okay.
Because their distribution runs off the state's year, which is July to July.
But we'll bring you each back a copy so you'll have it to look at. Well,
We
you're,
have to approve that, as,
Yeah.
or you just want our signature?
just really just need your signature on it, yeah.
All right,
And then I sign it, and then it'll, we'll bring it back to Jen and you guys
Okay.
officially. Hopefully, I sent you guys a letter, explaining what we would do with our money if it's, if it stays like it is now, the money that we get in without any additional. I think I listed on there how many miles of sealing we would do and what our plans would be. In case you guys get calls, and I'll take care of this with these people, but Schuman Road, that is now has all of the stone material on it and the calcium chloride on it. It is now ready for sealing, and it will be sealed as soon as we get started. Okay? The other road that we just did, 400 north, west of 9, or 109. It said 9. That is now done. We had some people calling and asking about that. It was not in shape where we could seal it. We had to rip that with our own equipment. It's a road that should be milled. Some of these roads, we can mill with our own equipment. We don't have to go to the expense of buying the milling machine.
That was between 9 and 109, then 400?
Yeah. It goes over to 50 west. And,
It was west of 109.
Was
yeah,
it?
yeah.
Okay.
And we're doing some drainage work on there right now. The road came out really good, and so did Schuman Road. They're very, very hard after we've now got the chloride on. And so as soon as we can double seal those, we'll double seal those roads for those people. So Schuman Road and that road were both just terrible roads, terrible as far as being bumpy and holy and the whole thing. So I think also, depending on the amount of money we get, if it would be at that 50% level, which I think that's what they set, or 26%, I think, of whatever our total ends up being, the amount of work that we can get done there. We have plans on finishing up Lincoln. I was out there measuring it this morning. So even though our money doesn't really come in even though it starts in July, we really don't get the money to pay for that this year. It would really be here next year. But we did end up with a good balance. I think my balance on here was like 4 something, but then we had January, February, March, April. Okay, so my balance in MBH right now, not at the end of the year, is a little bit higher. So between that and the money that we would have coming in during construction season, I would really like to get that done this year. I know the people here have waited a long time for that to be done, and I think that we can get that done with the rest of the work that we have planned. So when you look at that, I think you see a lot of work that we would be trying to get done this year, and especially next year. You know, the only thing that'll stop us is the number of men we have and the number of good days that we have. Other than that, we'll just be very, very busy, both paving, sealing, signage, the entire works now. So we have a real good plan set for that. Hopefully that letter will let you guys know what our plans are in case you have any questions. I think it works around the area very well in Whitley County and gets to everybody. So any questions on that kind of stuff, just yell at me or come by.
Michael, I do have a question.
Yeah.
Being out at the lake, we get tons and tons, I get tons of calls about North County Line Road, and I know that's Noble County.
Yeah.
Is there anything that we as a Board of Commissioners or you as Highway Superintendent can do to kind of nudge them a little bit on that? Because that road is terrible.
Yeah. Yeah, we can make that request. And a lot of times that request coming from another county means a little bit more. If Allen County said, well, it wouldn't be Allen County for us, but let's just say it went backwards, went the other way. If Allen County called us and said, hey, Mike, we're having a lot of problems with this, we're getting a lot of calls, it's yours, can you do something to help us? you know, we would try to do that. You always want to try to work with your neighbors
Sure.
pretty well. So, yeah, we can certainly make that request, know them up there pretty well, and see what we can get done.
Might mention they're getting $2,020,000 out of new funding.
But we'll remind them of that, and I bet they are aware. Yeah,
I too have gotten, actually Senator Banks got notified of it too, so.
and the other thing is, and you know, we've talked about it, but good for everybody to hear, it's a 2-year program, if the money's there. And then, you know, the whole thing can, like every time we seem to get money for one reason or other, then it dries up and you don't see it again. And that's why the wheel tax is so important, you know, to have that. And you know, they were going to run everything based on that wheel tax this year, and last minute dropped it. But, you know, I've got a feeling the way they're throwing that out there, they're going to, some year that's going to stick, and they're going to say, you know, help yourself or don't ask for help. Why are you asking us when you can be doing this for yourself? And those counties that don't do it for themselves are going to suffer someday.
Michael, do we know the difference, money and monies from the $10 that we're getting now for wheel tax to the 20%, we went to the maximum? What kind of monies?
See, I don't know that.
I had heard a figure, and in fact, I have some papers at the office, so I'm not going to give you, I can't give you an exact quote, but if we went up to from 10 to 25, it was going to give us a little over $1 million in additional money, yeah, per year.
So they took the language out of that, so we don't have to do that to qualify. But like you said, if we don't kind of help ourselves individually, so do you think that we should, are you gonna be here tomorrow morning to
Yes.
kind of say to the council,
Yeah.
you know, maybe you shouldn't jump from 10 to 25, but maybe you should jump from the 10 to the 1250 or 10 to the 15 now and maybe 20 and
I
gradually bring it in instead
sent the
of
council
we all.
a couple of letters now, actually, and each time, based on what they were saying, you know, and what we were getting in our mails, then I would up my letter, and I'd turn around and I'd send back another letter, and made them very well aware of what we can do. This is what we can do for the people of Whitley County if it stays here. And I basically even showed them the roads we'd be doing, or no paving, and you know, or there could be this much paving, or we could even start paving subdivisions. I mean, it went right through what we could do with the money. There is a huge amount of difference if we, from 1250, from adding 250 right now, to going up to the 25. I mean, it is huge what could be
We're
done.
at 10 right now.
Pardon?
We're at 10.
Yeah, but 250 would put us at the 50% mark.
Right.
Yeah, and there's a huge difference between that 50% mark and going 100% to the 25. You know, just for $15 a car, and if there's an average of 2 cars, $30. I mean, that simplifies it. But if it's $30, you can have over $1 million worth of additional work, which literally starts paving subdivisions even. Not to mention some roads that deserve it because they're high traffic, and that they should be. And you know, then it just becomes how much daylight do you have, how much can you get done, how much rain do you have during that construction season, how much can you get done. But there's nothing wrong
It
with.
didn't make any difference.
It
We're
doesn't
still
right now.
gonna
They
get
changed them.
600.
Yes,
regardless.
This
yes,
time, yeah.
yes,
We-
yeah.
The Senate version was the version that had, well, you better come up with at least 50%.
Mhm.
Did not pass. But I really, really look for it to come back in 2 years
Yeah.
and.
I think
so
it's 26% we get now.
We need to be prepared for it.
26% of, and that's why, you know, in there it shows we get $1.5 million. But yeah, like right here, it's $1.9 million. I mean, that 400,000, 26%, that's $100,000 difference that we could have. So it's worth,
But you gotta remember that's countywide, so
Yeah,
all
oh, yeah.
the incorporated areas,
Yeah,
right,
yeah.
they're little.
yeah, they take little ones. They don't, it's still MVH, which is mainly governed by the miles of roads. And you take a look at your little towns, they only have 4 mile of road here, and I don't know what the city of Columbia City has. Maybe it has 60 mile of streets or something, but, is it? Okay. But yeah, I mean, it makes some difference, but,
So we had 2.4 million left in your account to start this year? Is
No.
that what was left in there?
200,000.
200,000?
And we ended the year at 484 or whatever it was.
Okay, well, I'll find that in that report when you get it.
Yeah, 200,000, 305 we started, 446, 330 we ended.
Okay. Have you given us 13, 14, 15 here on different things? Now, 14 is in the seat. Has Mr. Overdeer from redevelopment, if he's mentioned to me once, I don't know how many times, that redevelopment could buy a truck or something.
Yep.
Now, has he talked to you lately, or
He's on my-
has he talked to you?
He's on my speed dial. I talk to him all the time, as much as I can, and,
The reason I ask, I'm not sure, sitting here and seeing our CETA program and everything we're doing, that I know it's in there for 14,
right.
but and we haven't gone beyond that, but you have for, new single truck axle. And also, there's 2 of them this year and then, but I don't think, now the backhoe you're buying out of your funds?
Yes. And next month, I still have to go to, we have to ask for an additional, which can't happen now until June, but yeah, that would be out of our funds.
Now, is that equipped with a trailer? Or, now I know you.
I'm not laughing at what you're saying.
But I've heard that question 2 times today.
Yeah, so
far.
am I.
Well, the
No,
reason I
they-
asked, about 3 weeks ago, I was coming to town, and here comes the county sweeper down the road. Not sweeping, just going down the road to a job.
Yeah,
Going about 8 mile an hour, probably 9. And I think, how long, not knowing where he was going, he was headed down toward Goose Lake there someplace. How long it would take him to drive, and he'd work 2 hours, and then he better head back in because it's getting dark.
yeah.
Now, wouldn't a trailer not only save fuel, but man hours and things if we had one that would haul that?
It would have been possible, I guess.
Would you use a trailer for that?
It depends if we're already hauling like the 90, the unit we just got. If we'd be hauling it somewhere and the trailer wouldn't be available. This guy just happened to be working on his own, and I wanted him to start cleaning up intersections, every intersection. So I sent him up to the lake area, and it said, start getting this loose stone off that comes from the winter. Start brushing it off, plus catch every bridge where material sits around the edges. Then that starts to corrode bridges. So I said, clean those off. So there's a lot of stops once you get up around the lake area, which is where he was to be, to do that. So that's what he was doing that day. These things don't come with trailers. You'd have to, go to a trailer dealer and buy another trailer, which,
Okay, no, I'm not interested in that.
okay.
But, okay, thank you. Go. Well, sorry I brought up.
No, that's okay.
That's a good point, because I've heard it several times.
I might as well use profanity rather than said trailer, the way you looked at it.
No, it's just funny because I've heard that question 2 times today already. I'm sitting there saying,
Well, I've got an ulterior motive.
I know you do, I know.
And especially while Brandon's here, I don't know how we have to do that. I just wanted to bring that before the commissioners also is, we're gonna have a backhoe that's available. And Drainage would like to have a backhoe, but they'll really need a trailer at the same time that,
They can be bought, whether they buy one or we buy one and give them our old one. But that's really what it would come down to.
They have a checkbook.
I could read his funds off what he ended the year
you've
with.
got to take that one more step. You can buy a trailer, you can buy 10 trailers,
how do you haul
But
it?
the last I knew, they don't move themselves. So.
There you go.
So you gotta have something to move the trailer with too,
So
so.
we need a truck too. is what-
I
We might as well try
If
trade
you-
in the back.
If you're getting a backhoe,